All right, you guys, we are live. Doing this a little bit differently tonight because I am in a different location. So I'm just going straight into it tonight to make sure that we're all set. When you log on, please let me know that you can hear me and that everything's good because, like I said, this is brand new and I'm at my parents' and I don't want to. I've never actually gone live on this laptop before, and I just want to make sure everything goes okay. So when you log on, just let me know that you're here. Shoot a quick message over. I'm going to get logged on onto Instagram too. Awesome. You can hear me okay? Wonderful. Awesome. I'm going to do Instagram too for just a minute, and then I'm going to log off of Instagram because I don't have any place to put. Well, let's try that again. Hold on. What are we doing here? Okay, there we go. Awesome. Good. Wonderful. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going live on Instagram too for just a minute, and then I'm going to turn Instagram off once we get into this a little bit. We always give it a few minutes to for people to get logged on. I'm a little like scatterbrained, so I'm not in my normal place. I'm in my old high school bedroom right now, so like I feel like weird. Like I'm using a different laptop. I'm not using my normal computer and all this kind of stuff, so I feel a little bit odd. So bear with me. But welcome. When you get logged on, say hello. Oh, look who's here. Miss Amy Delgado, our winner of Pittsburgh Pro, is here tonight. Welcome. Welcome. All right, so yes, the memories. Yes, it's crazy. Spent many years in this basement. The walls could talk. I'm just gonna leave it at that. Yes, having a good time. We went out on the boat today. It was really windy, so it was actually really nice out. It was like 70 something degrees out, but the wind was horrible. So I'm just like, all right, this is a lot of fun. I was trying to smoke a cigar while my parents were fishing. So okay, so let's get into this really quickly while you guys are logging on. We always give it, like I said, a few minutes just to get everybody in here, get settled in, all that kind of fun stuff. So welcome, you guys. Type into the comments, say where you're from, where you're logging on from, all of that. And while we're doing that, I want to show you guys something real quickly that we've just got in finally. Okay, so there's that. We have a brand new bikini bag that is available for purchase. Okay, and we have it on sale. So I have it sitting right here. For those of you that have seen me at shows, you've seen me walking around with this bag, this black bag, right? I take it with me everywhere I go. I had it in Japan with me. I had it in Hawaii with me. I take it to literally every single show that I go to. If you see me at a show, you see me with this bag, right? So if you can see this right here, that little logo right there says Bikini Athlete on it. It's super cute, really classy. It hooks onto your bag for when you're traveling, so it's a great little carry-on bag. This bottom part here is to put your food into. It's insulated, so you can put your food in there. So it's a meal bag as well. Got all of your pockets, all the pockets, everything inside here too. All zipper bags, all sorts of things. It is an amazing bag for traveling. I'm telling you guys, I take this everywhere I go and strap and all that stuff. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is because we finally got these in. We ordered these in November, you guys, and we finally got them made and got them in. They are up on our website now for sale. Typically, we are going to sell them at $97. Right now, they're only $57. So if you want to grab one of them, this is the best time to do it. We also have the code for free shipping right there, like I mentioned in the comment. If you click on that QR code right there, it's going to take you to the page that's going to get you to this bag. So let me show you what it looks like real quick too. Here it is. If I can get it to share. There we go. So this is it right here. Okay. So when you scroll down on this page, you'll see all the photos. You'll see all the logos. You'll see what the sizing looks like. That's the logo right there that I was showing you a minute ago. That's it right there. and it is on sale right now. So go grab them while we got them. Like I said, we had these specially made. We finally got them in. They were made in November. They were supposed to be here in December, and they were not. But it's seriously, I take this thing everywhere I go. So if you want one, grab one now, because they are, like I said, on sale for $57 right now, and you can get them with free shipping too. And what I'm going to do when I finish up with this live feed is I'm going to actually put the link into the description box too. It's not in the description box right now, but it will be when I finish up. I'll go back in and I'll add it on there for you. Okay. So that's your little sales pitch for this evening before we get into all this. And now we can get started on our wrap ups and all of that stuff. So get rid of that. Get rid of that. And one more. We're going to get rid of QR code. Which one am I showing? This one. There we go. Wonderful. Awesome. Okay. And with that, you guys that are logging on Instagram over here, go over to YouTube and Facebook. You can see the pictures and all that kind of stuff that we're going to share. I'm not in my normal environment right now, so I'm going to just stick to just being on those platforms and take off of Instagram at the moment, so I don't get all flustered, because I feel like I'm all just combobulated right now. So we're going to get rid of Instagram for the moment. Bye, guys. There we go. There's that. Okay, that's done. Okay, so let's get into this weekend. We are going to wrap up Pittsburgh, and then we're going to go into New York. And then we're going to talk a little bit about the whole Olympia spoilers thing, right? And how this is affecting our sport in general. So I got some things to say, and I'm glad y'all are here to witness it. But before we get into that, we are going to wrap up Pittsburgh. So let's pull up the Pittsburgh Pro pictures. Of course, I was there in person. It was a very, very good show. Competition wise, I mean, it was phenomenal across the board. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go through the top 5 like I always do. And this is so, guys, you have to bear with me, because this laptop is completely different from what I'm used to on my computer at home. So I'm just trying to get my bearings here. But let's go through top 5. Okay. So 5th place was Tara. Okay, so Tara looked phenomenal. This is the first time I've seen her in person this year. If you guys listen to my Spotify, I talked about all these girls and stuff like that as it was going on as well. This was the first time I'd seen Tara in person. I wasn't sure through the live feeds and stuff that I'd seen, and through the coverage that I'd seen from like the UK Arnold and things like that. I wasn't sure about her pink suit, and I'm trying to find a good front pose here. And I still am not a huge fan of the pink suit. Just going to say it. I'm not a huge fan of the pink suit. The main reason for that is because her skin tone is just too light for it. I don't think it's necessarily a bad color, but she tends to go with more light colored suits. And I would just like to see her in something a little bit deeper that pops a little bit better on her skin tone. Here's a good front pose right here. She is flipping gorgeous when we're talking about like stage makeup, hair, all of that. She does the glam to the next level, which I think is phenomenal. So when you're looking at this particular look with her, like the hair, the makeup, all of that's gorgeous. She's done a really, really good job of working out her issues with her posing with her waistline. Last year, one of the biggest things with her that we would always critique her on is about her waistline being too thick. This year, that has not been an issue at all. It's not been an issue at all. Front pose wise, I don't think I would change much. And I know it's hard to kind of tell from this photo here, but she looked really, really well balanced on stage in this particular front pose. What I would change in this particular look for her is her tan needs to be a little bit darker and her suit needs to be a different color. That's it. That's what I would change as far as her presentation was concerned from the front. So from the back is really where I think she needs to improve a little bit, but it's from what we've talked about from the previous shows this year too. So it's nothing that was out of the ordinary for her, right? This is what we've been talking about with her for the last couple of shows. Kind of good. We got a lot of pictures from this show, which is great, but that means I have to click through everything. So back pose, here we go. Okay. So back pose is really good, except she needs more upper outer glute. Okay, so it's really well balanced from top to bottom, right? She's got those wide shoulders up top into that tiny waistline, but then if you look at the top of her glutes, the top of her glutes just kind of go off to the sides. That's where she needs to improve right here. Her conditioning was spot on. Her projection and her depth to her glutes is spot on, but she just needs more up on top. I would also probably cut her hair a little bit. As you can see, it's kind of sitting on top of her suit. So we want it ideally to be just a little bit shorter than that, just so we can see her lower back, but I think it's just a touch shorter. Maybe if the curls were a little bit tighter or something like that, that would have done it. But she just needs a little bit more separation there. But other than that, I mean, she did phenomenal. Again, when we're talking about this particular show, there were 14 girls in this show that are either in the Olympia this year or were in previous Olympias. So this was like a mini Olympia. I mean, it's 14 girls. If you placed in this show, fantastic, because everybody in this show has been in the Olympia. You know what I mean? So for her to be in the top 5, wonderful look, really, really has improved a lot. I'm sure she was super happy about this too. But those are the couple of things that I would change. I would work on getting the upper outer glute filled out. I would get a little bit darker on the tan, and I would do a little bit darker on the suit, really. I mean, the suit color, she had that mint green suit last year, which I thought was too light as well. And then she's got this pink suit this year. So I think if she just goes a little bit darker on her suits, I think she would be a little bit better off. Yeah, they're easy fixes. The one that she's going to have to take a little bit more time on is going to be her upper outer glute, right? That's a building thing. She needs to build some more there. If I was her, I'd probably continue to compete this year, though, because I think she can secure an Olympia qualification. But then at that point, I would take some time to try to fill that upper outer glute out. So yeah, the suit and tan are easy fixes. And I don't know if that's what her feedback was, but that's just what I see. And I think it would just, again, she's got such a glamorous look. Like her hair and makeup look is so glamorous. I just want to see that with the rest of her physique. I want to see the tan and the suit to pop just as much as her face and her hair does. You know what I mean? So that's where I see the improvements necessary for her. Let's see. Let's go to next, which is Maria. So this was a fun one because Maria was super excited about this particular placing. For those of you that follow along here, you know, we watched Maria at Charlotte just a few weeks ago, and she came in second to Brittany. And here, Brittany was first call out. I think she came in 7th or 8th. So Maria actually did better at this show versus what she did in Charlotte. So she was just over the moon. You know, same things that I've said about her from Charlotte. I think she has really, really good balance from top to bottom. When you look at her front pose, it's like her shoulders are stacked on top of her glutes. She's full everywhere. She pops everywhere. Beautiful smile, beautiful overall look. The one thing I would probably change about this particular look that we're looking at right here is the middle part. Just the middle part. Just flip it to the side just a little bit. Again, bump up that glam level. When we're talking about top Olympians that are getting on stage, the glam level goes from here to here, right? So for that, I would literally just take that, just swoop it to one side. That is the only thing that I would change on this whole front pose look right here with her. I don't think I would change anything else. Now, when we look at her from the back, so let's pull up a back shot. Here we go. This is a good one. Oops, flipped through it too fast. There we go. Here we go. Again, really well balanced from the back. She's squatting a little bit into this back pose. And I think that the reason why they're doing this is to try to create more projection from her glutes, upper, outer, that kind of thing, because that's what her feedback was from Charlotte. But I mean, again, look at how well balanced that frame is from the back with her shoulders into her waistline and down. Really well balanced. And whatever adjustments they made here versus what she was doing in Charlotte definitely made a difference in the projection of those glutes. This is a better look than what she had in Charlotte. So this was probably a little bit of food, a little bit of training, a little bit of posing that was tweaked here between Charlotte and this particular show. which all did, obviously did very well for her. So at this point, placing 4th place in this particular show, I don't know what her next show plan is, but I would keep going and obviously try to get that Olympia qualification, because she just beat a bunch of people in this show that are already qualified for this coming year. So if she brings this look to another show, she's gonna be in the top 2, top 1, get that Olympia qualification, that kind of thing. I don't think I would change anything here from the back pose either. Same kind of thing that I said about Tara. I mean, if she's going to improve at all at this point, it's going to be about getting more upper outer glute, and that's just going to take time to do that. But even back here, she's got a really good length of hair. Like I mentioned with Tara, needs to trim it just a little bit. This is where Tara's hair should sit, right here. This is perfect, because you can see just a little bit of that lower back right there, and it's perfect for her. So this is a great look for her. There's not a whole lot I would change at this point through this season. And then in the future, she just needs to keep working on building the glutes like she has been. So really phenomenal look here. Really good job with that whole thing too. So we saw a lot of red suits in that first call out. We saw a lot of red suits in general. Everybody was in red, including Vanya. So when Vanya walked out, I initially didn't recognize her because she was wearing red, and I wasn't expecting to see her in red. I was so expecting to see her in blue. I like the red on her. I think it's a good look on her, but I like her blue better. I saw her backstage after finals, and I asked her, I said, so is the red staying? And she said no. she said she's going back to the blue. So she's going back to her blue. She tried the red just to see, at this particular show, Vanya had nothing to lose, right? Vanya already is qualified. She did this show last year, placed in the top 4 last year. She placed 4th last year, placed 3rd this year. So she went up in placing. She looked great. When she initially walked out on stage, I thought she looked a little bit soft from the back. But once I saw her next to everybody else, I was like, oh, she's actually not. She's actually pretty good. So I think this was a great look for her. I think she just tried some things to see how she felt about it, which, like I said, she has nothing to lose. You might as well get out there and try it. But she said she clearly likes the blue better, so she's going back to the blue. So, no, I think this was a great look for her. When we're looking at her from top to bottom here, nothing to me on her frame stands out anymore, right? Which is good. You want everything to flow together when you're talking about shape and frame and all that kind of stuff. It used to be that her legs would really stand out to me, or like her shoulders used to really stand out. She said she used to get feedback about her shoulders being too overpowering. She had too much vascularity, all those kinds of things. And she's fixed all of that. She's brought her shoulders down, brought her legs in, all those kinds of things. She's done a phenomenal job at reshaping her frame, and she looks really, really good here. Like there's not a whole lot I would change from this front pose other than go back to your blue suit. But I will say, I like this glam look on her. I like the hair and makeup. This is probably my favorite hair and makeup look that I've seen from her. It just, I don't know what it was, but there's just something about it that just popped on her that I really, really liked about it. So I thought her glam look was very, very good. Now, when we're talking about her back pose, this is where I thought maybe she might be a little bit soft. Obviously it was not that soft, because she ended up placing 3rd. But she was among the top 3. She was the softest of the 3. So I'm not sure what her feedback was, but she probably just needs to come in a touch tighter from the back. There we go. So when we look at her from the back, she's a little lopsided in this picture, but it just could just be the way that her, that the picture was taken. Cause this is the only one that's a full on pose. So she looks a little off to the side, but I think it's just when they snapped the photo, she was probably in the middle of a transition. But here, like, this is just about perfect. Like, if she was just a little bit tighter through that hamstring tie-in, I think that would have been right on for her. And I could see her, fighting for that top 2 spot if she had done that. She's definitely bringing it. I mean, this is a very, very good look for her. And I believe she mentioned that she's not getting on stage again until Olympia at this point. She's going to take the rest of the time off, which great thing to do. I mean, she's competed 3 times already. She's tried a few different looks. She's worked out some kinks. She's got her qualification. I don't know what else you could ask for, really, at this point. So if I was her, I'd probably just keep working on coming in with that perfect conditioning from the back. But she's pretty damn close. You know, she's pretty damn close here, and she's done a phenomenal job at reshaping her frame. So I really want to give her a lot of props on that because yeah, she's done a really, really good job at everything. So very good look here. Like I said, her like the glam, even here, the hair, like the glam look was the best glam look I've seen on her so far. So I would take this glam look and put it with her blue suit. Boom, done, right? That's where I would sit her. So and just a touch tighter from the back, just a touch tighter from the back. And then we get down to our top two. So we all pretty much knew this is how this was going to go down. We knew we were going to have our top two be Ashley and Amy fighting over this. It was the same thing last year. It was very, very close. I do think that Ashley looked much better here than she looked in Girl Power. We mentioned that before. She even said she had to get leaner for this show, you know, all that kind of stuff. So she definitely did that. Now, from the front, and again, I'm going to go back to the glam look. Okay, this glam look was 1,000 times better than what she put on stage at Girl Power. Okay, so much better. Overall, hair, makeup, tan, everything was a lot better. The one thing I'm not a fan of in this front pose here is that vacuum. Like she's got a really deep rib cage right here, right? We've mentioned this before. She has a tendency to suck that in sometimes a little too hard, and then it becomes really prominent. To me, that's what I look at. I will say that I was very impressed with how much tighter she was here, specifically like in her upper body, her shoulders, everything looked a lot better at this show. Her lower back looked a lot better at this show than what she looked like at Girl Power. So she did some serious work since that show. But if I had to critique this front pose, two things. It's the rib cage poking out at the top. And then I still think that her hand on her waistline is too hard. Like it's too much of an angle, and she needs to bring her hand down a little bit. If she did that, I think she'd be right in line. Because again, if you look at her frame, she's standing up nice and tall, and her shoulders are stacked right over top of her glutes, which is great. That's right where it should be when it comes to her front pose. There's just these little teeny tiny little details that I think would polish that front pose up for her. Bring that hand down just a little bit below the belly button and stop sucking in quite so hard on that vacuum, right? But other than that, again, much improved over what she put on stage at Girl Power. And then again, she's another one that when I looked at her initially coming out in the lineup, I thought she looked a little bit soft from the back. But once we got her into that top call out, she was actually one of the more conditioned ones from the back. So let's pull a back shot. Okay, here's a back shot right here. Okay, so I would tweak some things on this back shot, okay? The biggest thing, and I've said this before, is the suit cut. This particular suit cut, she wears a lot. She's really the only one that can pull this suit cut off at all, but I just don't think it's the most flattering suit cut. I think she needs to get rid of the T-back. I've said this several times. I just don't think this particular suit cut is flattering on anybody. I think it's actually doing her a disservice. And again, we're looking at this back pose, same kind of thing that I said with Maria. It looks like she's squatting into it a little bit too much. Usually when you bend into the knees like that, it's to try to pull the hamstrings just a touch tighter. So maybe she was doing that in order to try to pull herself a little tighter because she wasn't tight enough her last show. So maybe this is a correction because of that. But I just like to see her straighten the knees out just a little bit, because I think that hurt her projection of her glutes. Typically, when I look at her back shot, I see like these big, round, full, bubbly glutes, and that's where my eyes go. And here I don't see that necessarily. It looks like her legs kind of blend into her glutes a little bit. You know, and again, I'm being nitpicky based on what I've seen from her in the past. I think that her back shot has looked better in the past. And I also think she's kind of hiked up a little bit in the top. Most of these girls are nice and relaxed through the upper body. I think if she needs to just kind of relax that down a little bit, let her shoulders come out, show off that V taper into her waist in the back. Again, her hair is a great length. We're not seeing, you know, it's just shy of her bikini bottom, which is perfect. But I think she's just overdoing this pose just a little bit. She just needs to stand up tall, let that upper body open up a little bit, and not sink into the knees quite so much. Now, you want to have your knees soft. I tell this to every one of the girls that I pose. You want to have the knees soft, but you don't want to sink down into it, right? So There's a very fine balance right here. And I think she's just a little bit over. She needs to stand up just a little bit taller here. So that would be my critique on the back pose. Again, this is a much better look than what she had just at girl power. You know what I mean? So she's done a big turnaround in that short time frame, but there's just little teeny tiny things I'd like to see her do a little bit better. So, yeah, her presentation was a lot. Again, her presentation was a lot better than what she did in the past. So she's improved from her last show. These are just things that this particular show, I think she could have done a little bit better. So, and again, they might have posed her like this for a reason. But I just think that, you know, maybe she wasn't as tight as she thought she was. I don't know. But when I saw her in that top three, again, she actually looked like she was the tightest of the three from the back. So I don't think she needed to sit into the knees as much as she did. So I'm not sure why she chooses this cut all the time. I don't know if maybe she's not gotten the feedback. Maybe she's not gotten the feedback to not do it. I just don't like it. I just don't like the cut. So she's the only one that I've seen wear it that can actually pull it off. I've never seen anybody else be able to pull this particular cut off at all. So I just think it would be more flattering on her if she got rid of this particular cut. So, yeah, I'm not sure why she was squatting. It could have been an overcompensation from the previous show from Girl Power. Maybe she was doing that because she wasn't tight enough at Girl Power. Who knows? I'm not really sure. So I think that would be something that she could correct right there. And then we are going to go to Amy, who is our winner. And she won by 1 point, which she did last year as well. Same thing, beat out Ashley by a point last year. To me, this was, again, every time that Amy gets on stage, I feel like she's just getting better every time. So this was an even better look than what we saw at her last show. Wasatch was the last show. Let's see, pull this up. All right, here's her front pose right here. Now, again, when we're looking at these poses, what I'm looking for is anything that we could change a little, make it a little bit better, make it a little bit different. I don't see a whole lot here. She's standing up tall. She's twisting into it so that her waistline's nice and tight. Again, she's doing what I mentioned with Ashley, taking the hand down below the belly button. She's got her hand below her belly button here. Maybe pull the hair off that front shoulder. It fell down in front of her shoulder. So maybe that's one thing that we could look at here in this particular shot. She does have the hair over the back shoulder, which I think is fine. I think that's strategic. I think that's totally fine. I'm just talking about this in the front, just one little piece right here. And maybe it's just there because she's in the middle of a transition. Let me see. I know she flips her hair quite a bit through a routine, but as we're looking through this, I just, that's really the only thing I can see as far as what to change on the front pose. Yeah, it's just that piece of hair. There's not a whole lot else. She's not doing the vacuum. She's got her hand low enough. She's not sitting into the pose too hard. None of the things that we've, I just hit an ad, sorry. None of the things that we've critiqued on others before. Let me get rid of that. Replace it with a back shot. Let's take a look at the back shot. Here we go. Okay, here's a back shot. Again, nice and wide through the upper body. We see all of her lower back above her suit, and that upper outer glute. This is where I think she beats everybody, is the upper outer glute. This in the back pose, but also the front pose too. We talked about this at Wasatch, that she was the only one that from the front pose had that really high pop in her glute from the front pose. And that really stands out when you're next to everybody else and you have it and nobody else does. She has it, and nobody else does. Here, if we put this next to Ashley's back shot, this is like a completely different set of glutes, right? She's got that upper outer glute and the projection. You see that nice soft hamstring tie-in. She's tied in right there, but she's not hard. Like we saw a lot of girls on this stage had really hard tie-ins. We don't see that here. I feel like you look perfect. I have basically nothing to say about it. I know, right? Same thing. I mean, I'm trying to find things to pick apart, like that one piece of hair that's sitting on the shoulder. That's the only thing I can think in the front pose that needs to be fixed. That's it. But I also know from watching her through the routine that she flips her hair around a lot. So it probably just got stuck there for a second. And she didn't have it there when she was going through the comparisons, which is where it really counts, all of that. So, you know, it's hard for me to look at this and say that she needs to do anything different other than, again, push the hair up off the shoulder again, which she did throughout the rest of the routine. This is this one particular shot where she doesn't have the hair off the shoulder. But where we're looking at the difference maker here is, again, that upper outer glute, right? The projection is there. The upper outer glute is there. We didn't see anybody else on that stage with an upper outer glute like this at all. Like it didn't exist on that stage other than on her. So when you got somebody that's that dominant in something that is so bikini, it's going to be hard to beat. You know, bottom line is it's going to be difficult to beat. And, you know, we talked about before, this particular show was so deep with talent. I mean, literally 14 girls that were either qualified for Olympia this year or have qualified in the past. That's ridiculously deep for the lineup. Like usually we see one or two people and that's it. Right. So, you know, what are you going to do? I mean, we got the top people in the world on this stage. That's what you got. You got the best competition in the world on the stage. So there's not a whole lot I would change here. I don't know what her feedback was. I don't know if they told her to change anything. I would say just keep doing this, right? Just keep doing this. You know, again, she's going into Pittsburgh. I'm sorry, going into New York. We're going to go into that in just a second too. I wouldn't change anything. Right? So any questions that you guys have before we flip over to New York? So as I'm waiting to see if anybody types in any questions on this particular show, just to recap a little bit on wellness, I'm just going to talk about it a little bit. Isa, I don't know how to pronounce her name, the girl that won it, it was pronounced 4 different ways the weekend of the show, so I don't know how to pronounce her name. But Elisa, let's say her name is Elisa. That's what we're gonna say, right? She won it. She was 3rd at the Olympia this past year. She won Pittsburgh. In my opinion, she won it hands down, like not even close. Giselle was very soft from the back. It looks like to me with Giselle, what she's doing is she's trying to downsize a little bit because she's very big as far as wellness is concerned. So it looked to me like she's been trying to downsize. In the process, she probably lost some density from the back. So, you know, there's a couple of shows last year with Giselle that she won, even though she was a little bit soft. This year, I mean, you know, Elisa just blew her out of the water from head to toe, top to bottom. I thought Elisa's look was very, very good. Very, very competitive. The only thing that I would have changed with Elisa is her lipstick was very bright red and nothing else was. Or I'm sorry, nobody's up. Really bright red and then her bright red suit. And it was just too much with the bright red with the lips. That's the only thing I would have changed on her look. And her platforms were really high and sparkly. I would have changed that too. Other than that, I wouldn't change anything. Giselle just needs to work on making sure that she can get that density and that pop from the back so that she's tight enough from the back. What's her name? Andrews, Marissa Andrews. She actually really impressed me. There were a few shots in that particular show that I thought she beat Giselle. So I expect to see Marissa come back looking even better. I think from the front, she was a little bit washed out from the abs, that kind of thing. From the back, I had her beating Giselle from the back. So she can still work on it, having more upper outer glute, but her conditioning and her pop was really, really good. So that was my analysis of wellness, basically. Okay, so I'm seeing some comments. So let's take a look here. On the first call, it's shocking in a few ways. No question of a stacked show. I'm in top 5. Crabs all. They told me to put my body into a freezer. And 1 week before the OD thawed my physique, they said, don't eat, don't sleep, don't train, don't breathe. Just keep this. Well, see, there you go. So good luck with that, Amy. Don't know how you do that exactly. But good luck. I was gonna say, I don't know, like I said, when I was looking at the photos, I don't know how to tell you to improve anything. Like, I mean, I really don't. Like, as far as just do the same thing again, which is, we've talked about this before, that's sometimes the hardest feedback to get, to just duplicate what you've done before, because it's really, really hard to duplicate what you've done. You know, when you've got something to work on, you can go to the gym and you can go work on it. You know what I mean? Or you can go, whatever, you can go to your diet and work on it. When you got nothing to change, it's like, okay, so what do I do? Do I just stand here? Because I just got to keep this the same. So sometimes that's really the hardest feedback you can get, to be honest. So good luck. you know? Yeah, it's great feedback. I mean, yeah, it's phenomenal feedback, but what do you do? Like when you're that good, right? I'm like, shucks, I'm so sorry. I'd never gotten that kind of feedback before. So yeah, so that it's gonna be interesting going into the next few shows. Which we're going to talk about New York now, and then we'll talk about the whole Olympia blocker thing at the very end here. So let's talk about New York since we're on to the following week. And I wanted to do all this tonight because, again, I'm at my parents' house and I won't be going live again this week. I will be in New York in person. So for those of you that don't know, so I live in the DC area. So when they switched the schedule around so that we have Pittsburgh and New York back to back, so they started doing this last year. I go from my house up to Pittsburgh Pro. Then I go to my parents' house, which is where I am right now. And then I go to New York Pro, and then I go back home. So it's a nice little circle. I get to spend a week at my parents to say hello and all those kinds of fun things. And it works out. I get to see the big major shows, right? Do you want me to sit into my glutes less in the front pose, which I'll do at New York? Okay, all right. The couple of pictures that I pulled up of you looked like you were standing up pretty tall, but I didn't look at all of them, so that could definitely be something. There's something to work on. There you go, something little. So there's always things to be tweaking, right? So let's see. Let's go to, and Amy, if I'd thought about this earlier, I would have had you come on live with me, but I'm here at my parents' house. And again, I'm surprised I've been able to keep up on my laptop. I usually have my big screen computer and everything, and I can go from like screen to screen, and I'm on my little laptop here. So, let's see. So here's our list for, New York. There it is right there. There's our Bikini Pros. So there's only 12 girls in this show, which coming off of all of the shows we've had so far this year, this is small in comparison, right? So I did pull up the ones I think we should be paying attention to for this particular show, which obviously Amy is one of them, right? So we just talked about Amy. She would clearly be our front runner going into this show. She won this show last year too, so she's coming in to try to defend her title. And I think it's going to be incredibly difficult for anybody to come in and try to beat her. Now, every dog has its day, right? So there's always the possibility. There's never a show where you just walk in and it's going to be a slam dunk. But it's going to be very difficult for anybody to come in and kind of dethrone her at this point for this particular show. So I did pull up 3 other girls that I think have the opportunity to get in here and really kind of shine. One of those being Valeria. So she just did Pittsburgh as well. So this was the first time that she has been on stage in the States this year. She is already Olympic qualified. Yeah, Amy, we'll have to do that for sure. I was going to say, I wish I could figure this out. Are you capable of going on live right now? If I was to send you a link, I think I can do that. I don't know how I would send it though. Hold on. So sorry guys. And they just did a whole software update on the Restream platform too. So I'm trying to figure this out as well. Amy, just type in the chat if you're able to even go on live right now, and I'll try to get this over to you. I think I could probably send it real quick. Probably to your email. Let me see. Yeah, I can do that. All right. I'm going to send it right now. Okay, so Amy, I just sent that to you. If you're able to get on live, great. That's a link. You can just click on that and you're able to join me, and you'll pop up on my screen if you're able to get on. If not, that's cool. But I just figured, hey, we're here. We might as well, right? So the first one we're going to talk about. Okay, let me know if you got it. You should be able to get right on live, and I should be able to pull you on. Again, they updated my software too here. So, yeah, if you're able to go on, I'll pull you on. Cool. Cool. Awesome. That should work. Oh yeah. So while we're waiting, if that's possible, Valeria, let's talk about Valeria. Okay. The comments come in very slow and delayed. Yeah, I know it's there's always a delay going back and forth. So I just sent you over the link for Restream Live into this event to your Fit Body Fusion email. So check that, see if you're able to get on. If you are, I'll pull you in. So let's get rid of some of these things here. And I'm going to pull up a picture of Val. So here we go. All right, so this is Valeria. So she is Olympia qualified already. She was the one that last year she got qualified and decided not to do the Olympia because she felt like she couldn't hang with the top competitors, so she opted out. She qualified in Europe again this year, so she is already qualified now. This was the first time that we've seen her here in the States with her new coach and everything too. And in my opinion, she was really full, like really, really big. So from what I've heard, I hear she's going to come into New York better than what she came in here at Pittsburgh. One of the things that was distracting for me for her was her tan was a mess. So you can even see it in these photos. It's splotchy on her shoulders, it's splotchy on her legs. It was really splotchy on her backside. And it really, to me, deterred from her overall look. It was very distracting. Like I couldn't see her lines clearly. So, she comes in with that tan fixed and with a few posing things fixed, comes in a little bit tighter, more streamlined, that kind of thing. I think she has a very good shot of being top 2 here in New York. She's got a great stage presence. But one thing I noticed as she was posing is she kind of started reverting back into old habits. So muscle memory is very, very strong. And yeah, she's big, like a lot of muscle. And when I say big, I'm not saying like she's out of shape. I'm saying she's big, like as in she has a ton of muscle, like a ton. And she was very, very full. And she's 5'11", so she kind of needs to hold more muscle and more size. But okay, I just heard a little ding. So where did that go? Let me get rid of this. Where? I heard a ding, and I think that's Amy, but I don't know how to find her. I'm like, she's here somewhere. Oh, wait, I think I know where she is. Oh, there she is. I got it. Okay.
You see me?
There we go. We got it. Look at that. We have a special guest. Surprise.
Hey.
Look at who's here. Look at that. We figured it out too. I'm telling you, like, even when I logged on today, the whole platform was all messed up. And I was like, I don't even know what I'm doing. But welcome. Look at you. You look so cute.
Oh, no makeup on, naked face. Thank you.
Hey, if you can look cute with no makeup on, you're doing something right. So, so how are you feeling?
I'm excited. I'm really, really excited for this show. It's nice to be back. And this is the show I brought my daughter to. We've been talking about this all week, and she's so excited. So yeah, we're excited.
When do you actually fly out to New York?
When Thursday morning.
Okay. Okay.
Awesome. Check-ins aren't until like 7 p.m. in the evening, so we have all that time. If they were earlier, I would have flown in on Wednesday.
Check-ins are Thursday?
Friday at like 7 p.m.
I say, wait. I'm like, I'm getting there on Friday. Don't tell me that. I was like, hold on. Yeah, so I'll be there on Friday. I'm going to leave my parents and drive down on Friday. So as far as, doing these kind of back-to-back shows, you've done quite a few, back-to-back kind of things. So how are you feeling overall? Are you feeling like you're ready for a break? Or are you feeling like you just want to keep going? Or how are you feeling exactly?
Well, the adrenaline makes me want to keep going, and all the wins make me want to keep going. But at the same time, my daughter needs me to have, summertime with her. I'm super excited to do that. So definitely excited for a break, but I want to do another show just for her because I want her to design a bikini for me.
Oh,
like
nice.
Strictly like whatever she wants. It's probably going to end up rainbow, but
I love it.
I want to do another show just to her to see me on stage in that bikini that she designed for me. So that's something that I'm probably going to chat with Jamie about, but we'll see.
Oh, that's awesome. That'll be something that she can, remember forever too. And you as well, right?
Yeah. So hopefully maybe the Nevada State, the local one here in Vegas.
Okay, nice. So I wanted to ask you, because you put up a post about this, you wore that little barrette in your hair for finals. So what is the story behind that?
Okay, so I've been having a lot of trouble with my hair, like basically like this piece staying
Yeah.
up and curled out of my face. Last year at Pittsburgh Pro, my hair kept falling. It kept falling literally in my face. So finals time, we were trying to fix it. It was not working out. So Jamie's like, I have a barrette. It's sparkly. It has 3 stars. Let's just put it in your hair. So we pinned it like this in my
Yeah,
hair. It looked great. We won the show and we're like, let's just repeat that. And she
I
has a
love it.
matching one. So finals, we came out and we just put it on the other side just because we thought it
Oh,
looked better.
okay.
So yes, and she wore her barrette at the same time too.
I know. So I didn't put two and two together, but I do remember her wearing that. So that's cute.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's cute. I have the same problem. I have this cowlick with my bangs, so it always wants to fall in my face, and it's distracting when you're on stage because it's hard to like move through your poses when it's falling into your eyes and stuff like that too.
Yeah, so I just got my hair cut to where see how it frames my face a little bit
Yeah.
here. Before I had it all the way down to here. So that's probably
Okay.
why it was so heavy.
Oh, okay, okay, okay. Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hey, it makes for a good story. So do you only is it only Pittsburgh that you wear that for? You're gonna wear it for like if you're finals in New York and stuff like that too.
I love it. I love it. No one else does it that I've seen. In the
Yeah.
past, I've seen people do it, but I love it. I did ask Jamie if I could wear it for Olympia last year. She was like, maybe not, because it's not like a thing.
Yeah.
It's not a thing. So,
Yeah.
but after this Pittsburgh, I think she's gonna be open to it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
bug her.
That's never a thing until somebody does it.
That's true. That's true. And it can be my new thing.
That's right. I mean, I remember when I was doing figure, I always wore again because I had that piece used to fall on my face. I always used to wear it pinned back. And
That's
even
cute.
even the last one, the Japan, I wore it pinned back, but it wasn't a pin. It was like I just did a bobby pin, so you couldn't see it. But I did the same thing. I pinned it back, so it just drove me insane. So maybe you'll start a new trend because I think it's other girls suffer with the same problem.
Yeah, seriously. And then when you in the hairs, it's from finals. I mean, from pre-judging to finals, we don't ever get touch-ups really, because we don't. So it's either you gotta deal with it or you gotta fix it.
Yep. Yep. So you do what you got to do. You do what you got to do.
Yeah.
So what do you think was, obviously going into Pittsburgh, like you were ready. And I mean, I saw your stories all the time. You're like, we're coming with a better package and things like that. So what do you think it was that each show, why are you getting better every show? Why do you think that is?
I believe because I never stop like figuring out what I can do better, what I can do
Yeah.
more. Like when I went to San Diego and I saw my glutes, I was taken back myself. I was like, that's not my glutes. I see
Mm,
my glutes, like I've seen how they've progressed and the way that they were looking, they weren't progressing in my opinion. So I got lots of body work done. I did lots of changes with my training and it was really just my training was creating a lot of adhesions and my glutes were getting really stuck. So at the Arnold's, that's where we had the biggest freaking challenge. My right tie-in one day out disappeared completely. Like it was
Yeah, you showed
gone.
me the pictures about foam rolling and all that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Hmm.
gone because I trained the glutes that day, the day before, and then the next day, gone. Because I had so much adhesions, everything was being pushed up. So I foam rolled, my tie-in was back. So every time I train on peak week, it is getting all tangled and everything's disappearing. So now we don't even train at all on peak week. Like I don't pump, I don't do a thing on peak week. We just do our heavy glute day in the beginning of the week, and then we let it like resolve, recover throughout the week, and then we just step on stage. But right
Nice.
now I'm not training like at all just because with peak week.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, is that hard too? Because like you enjoy training, right?
Yes and no. I like to train, but if I didn't have to be in the gym, it'd be less time away from my family. So
True. True.
yeah,
You've
but
got a
it's
life outside the gym.
but it's hard to burn calories when you're not training. So I'm having more cardio, more steps throughout the day so I can keep
Okay.
active.
Okay.
So that's one thing I didn't like too much, but at the same time, being home is better. We have a treadmill here at home, so it helps a lot.
Yeah, 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 yeah. So we're going into New York. Once New York is over, you're going to take a decent break, right? So
Yes.
what's the plan? How are you gonna freeze yourself to Olympia? How are you gonna do that?
It's gonna be hard because we're probably gonna have to do like maintenance calories so I don't grow because I can't grow at all anywhere, literally anywhere. So we're just gonna maintenance calories, stay lean like I've always have in the off season. I don't get too far off, probably about 8, 7 pounds. And then Jamie will has an amazing eye to where she can tell, if we're going too far in the wrong direction. But for right now, we cut upper body completely out. I'm not doing anything upper body. Moving forward, I won't probably at all. And then I'm probably gonna just train glutes probably once or twice a week.
Is that going to be a hard mental shift for you?
Um, I would say no. I feel like because I'm very obedient. I'm very obedient. And if you tell me what to like, so I kept telling Jamie, like, I thought my right tie-in was smaller than my left tie-in. And I literally believed that. But I told her, I was like, can I do more workouts on my right tie-in? And she's like, no, I don't believe that that's what it is. And I'm like, okay. But if she said no, I ain't doing it. But some girls will be like, get their head, get the best of them. And then they'll just go in and do the opposite of what their coaches tell them to do. So if she tells me not to train, I am happy because that's what I need to do to be successful.
Yeah.
So I don't fight anything against what I need to do for the stage.
Well, that's great. And that's a really good message actually to put out there too, because I think a lot of times, like you said, people get in their own heads and they think that they know better. And when in reality, if you're hiring a coach, first of all, you should trust that coach, right? That's the first thing. You should trust them and say what they're going to tell me to do is going to be the right thing to do, right? And I think we get so close to ourselves that we can't see ourselves objectively. And that coach that you've hired that you trust should be the one that can see you objectively. And you should be listening to what they're telling you when your brain can't process it rationally. You know what I mean?
100%. When I'm checking in with Jamie, I'll be like, don't show, like in the beginning, whenever I was first working with her, I would look at my videos right after, like leading up to Showday, and I would get in my own head and be like, I don't like my waist, I don't like this. And then she's like, you're crazy, what are you saying? And then now I say, don't even show me, because I believe exactly what you're saying. And so I don't need to look at it if that's, I trust her. So that's true. You have to trust your coach.
Absolutely. Well, that's great too. And hopefully, leading by example, hopefully your clients will do the same thing with you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you lead by example, then hopefully the clients that you have as a coach would be like, well, she does it, so I got to do it too. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I've actually had some good feedback from me, going to shows. My clients are like, wow, I had a terrible week, but seeing you on stage reminded me, hey, this is why I got you as a coach, and I need to stop making excuses for myself because you're out here doing it, and you're a mom and all these things. And then so that they kind of look at themselves and be like, I can do this because she's doing it too.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. So anything that you would like to, like with the girls that are watching and stuff like that, anything that you'd like to just tell them right now as far as, some words of inspiration or motivation or whatever, anything like that?
Yeah, just never compare yourself. Your journey is your journey. That's the biggest thing. I used to always compare myself and then feel defeated, like I already lost. But you are your own physique. You have your own genetics, your own build. And what you can do is just focus on yourself and literally focus on yourself and know what you need to do. And the moment that you start focusing on other people, you start overthinking in here, and then you start thinking you need more of something that you don't need. So really just focus on yourself, put your head down, don't worry about who's coming, who's been there. You just got to focus on yourself, and that's what I've been doing.
Yeah, because if you listen to all the noise, there's a lot of noise out there.
Oh my gosh. You know how much noise everyone says I'm so muscular and I have big legs and I'm grainy. That is the no. But if I listen to them and I got into that, I went on, like, what if I went on my Instagram and was like telling everybody I'm not muscular, I'm not all these things, what all these people are saying. No, they can talk, they can say their opinions because they're entitled to, and I don't need to listen. It is noise.
True. Yeah, that's true. There's that saying of, you can't control what other people say or do, but you can control how you respond to it,
Exactly.
So
yeah.
that's what you have in control.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So, well, I'm going to talk about how you're an Olympia blocker in just a little bit. So I know you, I know you love that term.
It's cool because to be in that position, I think is just, it's amazing. I know it sucks, for some girls who are trying to qualify, and I do feel for the girls, but at the end of the day, I'm doing what I need to do to win the Olympia. Yeah. And that's what we're all trying to do. So I'm pretty sure every girl out there is doing everything they can to, get the success to win the Olympia. And I'm just doing the same thing. So yeah.
Yeah. No, and at the end of the day, like, I was actually, one of my clients is on here right now, and I was telling her, I was like, there are 97 Bikini Pro shows this year.
I don't know how, like
So
how.
like that includes master shows. So that includes master shows. So like if you take those out, there's probably 20 or 30 that are not master shows. But if you can't qualify in those, let's say it's 67 and not 97. Let's say it's 67. If you can't qualify in those, then maybe you're not ready to be at the Olympia. You know what I mean? Like that just stating facts right now. You know,
Yeah,
it
no,
is what it
it's
is. So
true. It's true because it is not a good feeling stepping off that stage and not doing well.
yeah.
It does suck. So you want to make sure you're prepared and you're ready for that big stage and you want to do well. So
Yeah,
definitely for
absolutely.
sure.
You know, and like you said, I mean, it's at the end of the day, like it comes down to you and what you need. Again, not reacting and responding to what they're doing, but reacting, responding to what you need to do. And as a professional athlete, that's what you are. You know, you want to progress yourself how to where you want to be. And in order to do that, sometimes you just have to focus on you and not everybody else. And
Yes,
they just have to figure out what they got to do in order to beat you. You know what I mean? That just is what it is.
exactly. Yep,
So
yep.
how else are you going to get to that Olympia title? You got to beat everybody in order to get to the Olympia title,
And I was there in all their position when I first
right?
started too. I wasn't winning. My first year was not winning no pro shows.
Yeah.
My second year, I got second place. I got fourth place, and then I won two pro shows. But I was right there with them, trying to make it to the top two. So we
Yep.
all start there. It's just what are you gonna do? How to move past where you're at currently?
Yeah. Yeah. And then also on top of that too is having a why behind the competing that maybe is not winning. You know what I mean? Because
Oh
there can
yeah.
only be one winner at every show. You know what I mean? So you've got to go into these things with another driving force behind you.
Yes, 100%. Like you're not gonna go in and win every show, and I know I'm not gonna go in and win every show, regardless of what my season has been. Like the New York Pro, like no, we don't know what's gonna happen, and I'm gonna do my best, and I'm still on my toes. I'm gonna bring my best, and just
Mhm.
like as if I was going up against the top five at the
Yeah.
Olympia, every show should be like that.
Absolutely, because you know you can go in and have an off day or get too comfortable, and then all of a sudden somebody comes in and takes the title from you, and you're like, well, damn, now what? You know what I mean? Now you're not freezing
Exactly.
yourself until Olympia. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
And I want that track record of being consistent and not
Yeah.
showing up off. And that means a lot to me because I want that track record. And in order to have that, you gotta make sure you're on every time. So if when I'm going to a show, I make sure I am not missing anything at all. I make sure
Yeah.
I'm on, and if I'm ever off, it's gonna be something has to do with my period or something happened,
Something
something
out of your
crazy.
control.
Yes,
Yeah.
out of my control. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, yes. And even
Yes.
then when we have the period, we still do what we can to bring the best and we just hope for the best.
Absolutely. Okay. Awesome. Well, I really appreciate you jumping on, like literally during the live.
Yeah,
Like,
of course. Next time.
I was like, I should
Always
have asked
happy.
earlier, you know? I was like, but no, I appreciate it. So I'm gonna let you get to back to your family over there. And thank you for coming on. All the ladies were very excited to see you. So I appreciate it.
All right. Well, have a beautiful rest of your day and I'll see you in New York.
Thank you. Thank you. You too. And we'll see you in a couple days. We'll see you in a couple
Bye
days.
everyone. All right.
Bye. All right, guys. So that was a special guest. Yay. I didn't plan that at all. So with that, we're going to continue previewing the last two girls that I have pulled up for New York. So let's see. I'm just looking at a few of these. I know, right? Just making sure that I didn't miss any comments that I should have because I wasn't paying attention to you guys. I'm sorry. Love it. Awesome. Yes. Wonderful. Awesome. Okay, cool. So I'm going to pull up. So we were talking about Val. So with Val, I think what she needs to do is she needs to fix the tan. That's the first and foremost. She needs to work on some of those posing issues. And then she needs to come in tighter because I think she was a little bit too full and she just needs to come in a little bit more streamlined because she was really very big in Pittsburgh. So we'll see what she looks like, but she could definitely be a contender for the top two in this particular show. The others that I have pulled up is I have Emmy. So we've talked about Emmy. So Emmy, I think, is going to do very, very well at this show because I think she's going to compare very well to Amy because she compared very well to Amy at Wasatch. I'm just going to leave her here. We got a decent front pose right there of her. So we talked about her at Wasatch. She came in third at Wasatch. Needs a little bit more kind of streamlining of her physique, fine-tuning of her physique. This was her first show back after over a year off, 2 years off. So So she did phenomenal at this particular show. So I really think coming into New York, she's going to be one to be paying attention to for those top 2 spots. I think she's going to compare very, very well to Amy, and this could be very, very big for her if she does, because all of a sudden she's going to get on the radar, right? She already kind of wowed us all at Wasatch already. So this could be just another one of those things. And also she's going to get some really good judging feedback too, just going into the show and knowing what she can do going forward and potentially win a show, right? And then let's see, where did I just put that? Because the other girl's here too. The last girl that I pulled up was Lisa. So Lisa just competed in Hungary and she took second. She is also a previous Olympian. She won a couple of shows last year. She does do pretty decent when she's over in Europe, but when she comes here to the States, not so much. So I'm curious to see what she's going to look like. To me, she still looks a little bit over the top when it comes to conditioning and muscularity, but she did just take second in Hungary, like literally this same weekend as Pittsburgh. So was it Hungary or Poland? Whatever. Whichever one it was this weekend. So she could end up being one of those dark horses that we see come out and actually do pretty decent. I'm guessing she's probably going to be in the top 5. I'm just not sure how high up in that top 5. So she's definitely going to be paying attention to for New York as well. And outside of that, I mean, I don't see anybody that's really done anything crazy as far as placings or anything like that. Maybe I'm missing somebody. If I miss somebody, feel free to type it into the comments here if I miss somebody. But the last thing that I'm going to talk about is what we kind of started to go into while Amy was on here, and that's about the Olympia blockers. And really, we have Amy and Ashley that people would consider to be Olympia blockers, and we touched on that a little bit. Like I said, there are 97 Bikini Pro shows this year, and as we were saying, you know, even though that includes master shows, there's still probably close to 70 pro shows. So there could be potentially 70 girls that qualify for the Olympia. There is absolutely no reason why somebody like an Amy or an Ashley should sit out any of these shows, right? If they want to compete, they can compete, and everybody else needs to come up and beat them, right? Now, the one thing that I will say, the one caveat to this that I will say that I would like to see change when it comes to the qualification system is I would like to see the point system come back. The point system was eliminated last year, and I think it was done prematurely. I think it was done kind of as a knee-jerk reaction because we had so many people qualifying for the Olympia. But the reason why they all that many people qualified for the Olympia that year was because it was an extended year because of the whole pandemic and COVID situation. We had like 14 months worth of qualifications. So more people qualified anyway because of it. But what happens with the point system is it does qualify 3 more people. But what it also does is it gives a carrot to those people out there who are placing the top 5, right? Who are getting the top 2, top 3, top 4 at each show that they go to, and they can collect points as they go. Now, a lot of people go and say, yeah, well, what this does is it rewards the people that can afford to do a ton of shows and just consistently place in that top 5. Well, if they're consistently placing in the top 5, then they probably are pretty good. Right? That's the first thing. So they probably could end up going to the Olympia if they keep going and try to win a show. But what it does for those girls and guys too, is it gives them something to continue to work for, right? If you're going into a show and you know that the only way you're going to get to the Olympia is by winning that show, it's hard to wrap your mind around that. It's an expensive sport on both your finances, your body, your family. Amy was just talking about this. She's like, I can go spend time with my family. You know, those kinds of things are important, you know? So I think by having the point system, it gives athletes another reason to compete more, which we need. You know, that's one of the reasons why I think we don't see a lot of people in New York right now, because we don't have the point system. In the past, New York was one of the top tier points earners. So you could place top 2 there and get a ton of points. If you did that at New York and at Pittsburgh and Tampa, you can go to the Olympia on those points, right? So I would like to see the point system come back. And that it makes it more interesting for us too. It makes it more interesting for us. It makes it suspense. It gives us something to sit down and calculate and plot out and things like that. And well, if this person does this and this person does that, then this person's going to qualify and that person's not. There was a year with the qualification system where it was all points based. And I had one of my girls that I worked with qualified on the very last show because she needed the way that everything worked out in that very last show. There were 2 pro shows that weekend. One girl that could have potentially beaten her out for that top point earning spot did not win points. She ended up in 5th place, which gave her just 1 point more that she needed in order to qualify for the Olympia. It was legitimately the very last person to qualify for the Olympia that year. And it was exciting. It was exciting for that to happen, right? Because she'd been competing all year. She'd been consistently in the top 5 all year. She just hadn't been able to break it through to that win. So because of the point system, she was able to go to the Olympia at the very last second. So that happened with a lot of Dunbar the last year, the points too. It makes it fun. It makes it interesting. We all tune in. We all want to know what's going on. So it just makes all of these bigger shows and smaller shows interesting. So I think they need to bring the point system back for those reasons, and several more. I just think it makes it, and I could go on about other things too, about how I'd like to see actually more people qualify and there'd be a cut round and all those kinds of things, but we're just going to leave it at that for tonight. So what do you guys think about the point system? I know some of you guys have been around when the point system was active. For those of you that were in all of that and that were, strategizing or strategery, that were going through strategery, what do you guys think of the point system? So I'm looking at some of the comments. Does Val have larger structure as well? Yes, Val does have a larger structure. Absolutely does. Looking to see if I missed anything else. Yulia was just too hard, specifically in her hamstrings. Her feedback was to grow, which I agree with. Right now, she is a really good one. His motivation, yes, absolutely agree with you. I think that if it was a pro consistent place in the top 5, I would really want to try. Well, and here's the other thing too. Like, again, the argument is if you can't win a show, then you shouldn't be at the Olympia. Blah blah blah. Well, there was one year when I was working with Jasmine Gonzalez, and she qualified on points that year, and she ended up in the top 10 at the Olympia. Ashlyn qualified on points that year too, and she ended up in the top 10 at the Olympia. So just because you qualify on points doesn't necessarily mean that when you go to the Olympia, you're going to be last. It doesn't. They actually made it to the top 10 over girls that had won shows. Because sometimes you go into these shows and they're not very competitive. You don't have a lot of girls in them, or you don't have any Olympia blockers. You know what I mean? So there are girls that win shows that may not have won those shows had it been a more competitive lineup. It's just how the cookie crumbles sometimes, right? So, that just because, and again, if you're putting yourself into shows where there's tougher competition, like if you're putting yourself into a Pittsburgh Pro show where there's 14 girls that have been to the Olympia before, you're putting yourself up against harder competition than Timbuktu, Joe Schmo Classic. You know what I mean? So like there's levels to this, right? So I think it'd be exciting to bring back. I don't like the Olympia blockers, but when you have that to say, actually helping it shows to collect those wins. Looking at sorry, I'm reading all the comments. Fifth point system should come back. I say it was just 3 people added to the list and gave people a reason to keep showing up. Absolutely. Yep. All shows are created equal. Not everyone always shows up their best every show. Point system introduces that bit of uncertainty, and that makes it really exciting. Agreed. 100%. Yep. And I think the short-sightedness on taking it away was thinking, it qualifies 3 more people. But in reality, what it does is it actually makes more people show up. So we probably are going to end up having people that have won shows in the past win more. So it just cancels itself out. You know what I mean? And then also when you have these really exciting shows like Pittsburgh, I don't know about all of you guys here, but how many of you bought that live stream? That puts more, whenever people buy the live stream, that puts more money into the promoter's pocket. And when you have an exciting show and you've got a lot of things on the line, whether it's Olympia qualifications or points or prize money or whatever it is, you've got more people that want to watch it, right? It makes it more exciting. People want to watch more, right? So that in turn generates revenue. So the more interesting and exciting that you can make this, because let's be honest, bodybuilding is not the most exciting sport in the world. It's not like MMA, it's not like fast-paced anything. It's really not. It's very nuanced, and you have to be very, very into it in order to understand it at all, right? So the more that you can give excitement to it, the better. And I think the point system made it exciting. I think it made it fun. I think it made it was like it's like playing Tetris with the with the points, right? So Harvey, yeah. So and that's the thing. It's like when you have exciting shows, more people want to watch. I'm betting a lot of people are going to buy the New York live stream because of the men's open lineup. The men's open lineup is huge in comparison to some of the men's open lineups have not been very big this year. Right? So where you have more people want to watch. Right? Just saying. Let alone if you have more competitors, not even just for the fan aspect of it, but their friends and family. You know, their friends and family want to watch. So all that stuff makes a difference, right? And one thing I wanted to do a quick shout out of, because I forgot about this because I got wrapped up in bringing Amy on, is this real quick. Okay. LSR, their makeup. So for those of you that saw Kelby, which she was on here earlier, I don't know if she still is, but those of you that saw Kelby at Pittsburgh, I used the LSR foundation and the concealer on her for her makeup. So those are two of the products I use. I have not used the scar cover up. I haven't used the foundation, the powder cream. Haven't used anything but the foundation and the coverage concealer. So I just want to put that out there. But I used both of those products on Kelby this past weekend. So if you saw how flawless her foundation looked, that's why, right there. There she is. Kelby's right there. So yeah, so check those out because those were really like it was a very clean finish on her and everything too. So they've done a really good job at formulating their foundation. So this is liquidsunrays.com. As you guys know, they are one of our channel partners. So I'm gonna go ahead and put their QR code up here for you right now too, so you have that real quick. And I'm looking at the comments here. I do think the price point for the live stream in Pittsburgh was so reasonable. Say them. Yeah, live stream is great. In person is even better. 100% agree. Thank you. So there's Liquid Sun Rayz, and their link is in my description box, and so is my code Cuties15. So check that out. And then I'm going to go ahead and put up the QR code for the bag again for those of you that didn't see that, didn't grab that at the beginning. So here's the QR code for that. Okay, so that up in the corner is the QR code for that bikini athlete bag up there, right there. Ding, ding, right there. That was the bag that I was showing at the beginning if you missed it. Oh, I just dropped my phone. Anyway, it's the bikini athlete bag right there that I literally carry to every show that I go to. Any other questions you guys had? I'm gonna leave it open for a minute or two and make sure that that I answered all questions. I missed some of the comments tonight because y'all were coming in pretty hot when Amy was on here, which was good. So I did miss some of them. I'm not gonna lie. Usually I read all of them. Yes, I'm telling you, you got to get yourself a bikini athlete bag. You can use them for work. You can use them for the gym. I literally take it to every show. If you see me walk into a show, I've got it over my arm everywhere I go. So you're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions you guys have? We will be doing a behind the bikini episode tomorrow. So first thing in the morning, I will get that out to you as quickly as I can get it edited. Which will be interesting because I've never actually edited on this laptop. Like I said, everything is a little bit foreign to me right now. I usually do it on my big screen at home. So bear with me on some of this stuff here. But I appreciate you guys being on here with me. This was a long one, but I think it was worth it because thank you, Amy, if she happens to still be on here. I appreciate you coming on live with us and talking a little bit. That was completely unplanned. So this is why you got to come on live with me because you just never know what's going to happen. We just have random surprise guests jump on. So that was phenomenal. You know, to be honest with you, when it comes to wellness, that's actually a really good question. I didn't even look. I did not even look. Let me look at it right now while we're sitting here. Give me a minute. I'll look. I looked at women's physique because I wanted to see what their numbers were going to be because women's physique was low at Pittsburgh. Wellness. Let me look. Elisa. I mean, it's probably going to come down to Elisa and Giselle again. You know, there's some other pretty decent competitors here on this list, but I think it's going to come down to the two of them again, and I think it's going to be Elisa walking away with it again. Just gonna be honest. I mean, I don't really see how anybody can beat her right now. I think she looks phenomenal outside of Francielli and Isa, really, to be honest. So if Giselle comes in tighter, maybe. If she comes in tighter from the back, maybe she can bump up. But I as far as shape and stuff like that's concerned, I mean, when I saw Elisa on stage at Pittsburgh, it was like no contest. So yeah. And here's the thing, even if Giselle pulls it together and brings it in tighter and things like that, I still don't think she has the shape and the look to beat Elisa. I just don't think she does. So I think Elisa's going to beat her just on that alone. Even Giselle at her best, I think is still not going to beat Elisa. I think Elisa is still going to win. So unless Elisa's really off, in my opinion, I think it's going to go to her. So, yep. Anything else? Any other questions, guys? I'll leave it open for another 30 seconds because that'll be a minute, or that'll be an hour and 15 minutes. This is a long live feed, you guys. Don't normally go on here this long, but glad we did. If there are no other questions, then guys, I appreciate y'all being on here. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share this with your friends. Click the links in the description box. We've got the QR code for the bikini bag. That link will go into the replay in the description box. Prozis is down there too. If you need your supplements, Liquid Sun Rayz is down there. If you need your tanning stuff and makeup stuff, and that's it. Other than that, you guys, we'll have Behind the Bikini tomorrow, and then we'll be reporting live from New York Pro. They do have a live stream, so I won't be able to go live stream, but I will do Spotify for you guys at New York Pro as well. All right. With that, I hope you guys have a fantastic night. Thank you all for joining me, and we'll see you back here next time. Sparkle Kitty. Sparkle Kitty. I'm okay.